my channel, Planty Princess 92. My name's Ashley, and in today's video, if you haven't noticed down here, I have 4 varieties of Scindapsus. These are the only 4 varieties I have, but I wanted to kind of speak to you about the differences between them. So right to get started, I will name off the 4 that I have. I have the Scindapsus Pictus Exotica, the Scindapsus Pictus, it either goes by the Silver Splash or even sometimes the Silver Pothos. I have the Scindapsus Pictus Silvery and then the Scindapsus Pictus Argerius. I'm hopefully looking to get the Silver Lady in the near future because that one is just so beautiful. It's almost like it's a combination of the Argyraeus and the Exotica all mashed into one. It kind of sort of looks like a green leopard print somewhat. It's just really beautiful. I am going to insert a really quick picture right here to show you an up close difference of the leaves. The picture I'm inserting does have 6 varieties, so I only have the first 4 that are in the first 2 columns. I do not have the Jade Satin, and again, as I just said, I do not have the Silver Lady. So we'll get started right here. I'll start with the first 2 that are the most popular. These 2 are really easily to tell apart. The only thing that is hard is when you're ordering online, as I do for a lot of my plants, because I don't have a lot of these in my local stores or nurseries and things like that. It's hard to tell from a picture the difference, so that's the only downside. But if you do get the opportunity to see these in person, at least you'll be able to know the difference, pick apart the differences, and decide which plant you want to buy. So first off is the Argerius. This one has smaller leaves and it also has less silver. This has the least amount of silver between the 4 pothos. It's mostly green and has just silver throughout it, but you still see a lot of that green. The variegation on this one, it's mostly always, in the same pattern. Now, obviously, you do get, the spots aren't exactly the same, so that's not what I mean. But I mean, it's a stable pattern of variegation. So most of the leaves will look like this. You will get some with a little less, but the majority of them will have this pattern. They also have, the edging has that really thin silver to it. So that's also how you can tell that you have an Argerius. Next up, we have the Exotica. Now this is one of the ones with the biggest leaves. So real quick, you can see the difference between the 2. These leaves are so small, and these leaves are huge. Also, you noticed how this one has way more silver than this Argyraeus does. So now this is the Exotica. As I said, the leaves are really large. They have a lot of silver and less green, so it's almost like the opposite of the Argyraeus. Also, if you can kind of notice, they do have, let me find a more green leaf so you can really see it. Right here on the edging, it has that thicker silver lining to it. Sometimes you can't see that because you do get a leaf that's really covered, so it's hard to tell. But the Exotica has the larger leaves, it has the thick silver edging, and it has a lot of silver. The majority of the leaves will be silver. Next, I have the Silvery Ann. This one is also a smaller leafed Scindapsus, so I'll just show you compared to the Argerius. The leaves are similar in size between these 2. The only difference is with the Silvery Ann, the variegation isn't so stable. It's more sporadic and just kind of where it wants to go. So the leaves are similar in size. Let me just get two next to each other. Here we go. So the leaves are similar in size, but the variegation can be a little more. It's really, you know, it's just where it wants to go. It's not in any specific place. You know, this one is, you know, half and half. So this one is just more sporadic than the other two. And like I said, it can have more silver to some of the leaves. It can have less silver to some of the leaves. This one also does have a thin outline of that silver once again. So just tell the difference between the Argerius and the Silvery Ann is the variegation on the Silvery Ann is more sporadic, and the variegation on the Argerius is more or less pretty much the same on every leaf. Last but not least, I have my favorite, either the Silver Splash or the Silver Pothos. It goes by both. Now this one, I only have a 2-leaf cutting. I bought it with 1 leaf and it finally just put in this second leaf here. The leaves that I have are a little bit on the smaller side, but these leaves do get a little larger than the Argerius and the Silvery Ann. I would say they get closer to the size of the Exotica. Now, obviously, right now there is a significant size difference, but you can tell it is definitely closer to that size. And as I grow in more leaves, they will start to get larger. The Silver Satin or Silver Splash or Silver Pothos, it's really pixelated. So it's splashy, it's pixelated, it almost looks painted on. And that's the difference between this one. This one doesn't really have that outline of silver along the edges. There is none. So that's how you know you have a Silver Splash, a Silver Satin, or a Silver Pothos. The variegation is pixelated, and it's a little larger than the Argerius and the Silver Satin, and it also does not have that edging to it. The care for all of these is the same. I cannot speak for the Jade Satin or the Silver Lady. I would assume it would be similar, but I'll stick to telling you what I know about the ones that I have. The care for all 4 of these is the same. These are very, very verbal plants. So if you're not sure and you don't want to overwater, you'll know when to water them because the leaves will curl. So when one is ready to be watered, the leaves will kind of curl like this. So the edges of the leaves will start to curl in and curl under. And that's how you know it needs watered. I wouldn't go ahead and water it when you see 1, 2, or 3 start to do that. I would wait till the majority of the plant starts to look like that before I go ahead and water. I do bottom water these girls because I find that they like it a lot better. They don't really like to be soggy. So I know that bottom watering them, that kind of guarantees that the top of the soil won't get too wet. Sunlight, they like bright indirect light. Just like any variegated plant, if you don't give them enough light, they could lose some of their silver variegation. So you just want to make sure you give them tons of bright indirect light, but you don't want to give them too much direct sunlight, too much harsh lighting, because that can scorch and crisp their leaves. I think that's really everything. These do like a little more airy mix, but also throw in something like peat or something else similar that's also water retentive, because they do like to stay moderately moist. Again, not soggy through the winter. Obviously you want to keep them barely moist, but to be on the safer side, I would wait till you see those leaves curl, till these ladies start to talk to you and let you know, hey, I'm a thirsty girl, and then you can go ahead and water them. Thank you guys again for watching. I hope I was able to help you decipher the differences between these beauties. I know when I first started, it was really hard for me to tell. Again, like I said, online it's almost impossible. But hopefully that will help you out. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested in the content I provide. And as always, every plant's a princess. Bye.